Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks. With the Spain News Update, we'll have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today. We'll also have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel recently by viewers. But before I begin, a big thanks to all of the people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it's by buying me a coffee, through the super thanks option on YouTube, longer term supporters on Patreon, and also the new channel members to this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that support. Now straight into the news, and Spain's #1 fugitive from justice and soon to be voted politician of the year here in Spain, Carles Puigdemont, is making headlines because he will announce this Thursday that he will stand as a Junts candidate in the Catalan elections. The former president of Catalonia, Carles Puigdemont, will announce this Thursday that he will stand as a candidate for Junts in the elections on the 12th of May in Catalonia, according to RTVE. The announcement is expected at an event in Elna, France. Junts begins this week the process of choosing the 4 heads of list for the elections, 1 per province. Candidatures can be submitted between Wednesday the 20th and Thursday the 21st until midnight. In recent days, the Junts party has explained that its #1 option for the 12th of March elections is Puigdemont, who, according to its calculations, will be able to return to Catalonia to coincide with the investiture debate towards the end of June once the amnesty law comes into force. So there we go, the Carles Puigdemont saga taking a new twist. Most likely he will be the candidate for president there in Catalonia on the 12th of May when those elections are being held. And what a strange story this has been over the years. As we know, Mr. Puigdemont, responsible for that failed referendum back in 2017 when Catalonia tried to separate from the rest of Spain. Of course, the Spanish justice system went after him. He fled the country into exile and has been living in Belgium ever since. But as we know, the current central Spanish government, the Sanchez government, needs his support and has therefore worked out an amnesty so that all of these Catalonian politicians can come back to Spain and pick up where they left off. So again, another example of just how ridiculous politics is in this country. Now, the second piece of news, and the opposition leader here in Spain, Mr. Alberto Núñez Feijóo, has called for an investigation into the business dealings of Pedro Sánchez's wife. And as we can read here, Feijóo has threatened Sánchez's wife with a parliamentary investigation. The amnesty and the cases of corruption for the purchase of masks and health material during the pandemic continue to occupy the political news in Spain. The leader of the PP, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, has threatened the president of the government, Pedro Sánchez, with a parliamentary or judicial investigation into matters that affect his closest environment, in reference to the meetings held by the president's wife, Begoña Gómez, with the leaders of the Air Europa airline, which was bailed out by the state during the pandemic. So there we go, Pedro Sánchez's wife, Begoña Gómez, caught up in a scandal of her own. And as we saw, the leader of the opposition here in Spain wants an investigation to find out exactly what was going on back in 2021 or 2020, I think it was, when this airline, Air Europa, was being bailed out and Begoña Gómez was having meetings with this airline. Now, you think the government would come out and clarify these events, but they're keeping quiet. And as we know, when you keep quiet and don't tell the truth, rumors start. So we'll see how this one plays out and whether Sánchez's wife has anything to answer to. Now, dodgy fruit and veg in the European Union is again making headlines here in Spain. This time, the dodgy produce is not coming from Morocco. We saw the case yesterday of another batch of strawberries infected with hepatitis A, but this time we're talking about Spanish courgettes. And as we can see here, it's France that is warning of high pesticide content in courgettes from Spain. Doubts are looming over Spain due to the distribution of its food products outside its borders. If a few days ago the distribution of frozen swordfish had to be stopped due to high mercury content, this time it is the turn of courgettes. The EU's rapid alert system for food and feed has notified that high levels of pesticides above illegal levels have been detected in this vegetable. In fact, they have categorized the detention as a serious risk. Although agricultural products are subjected to such procedures from the ground up to prevent bacteria and viruses from killing the crop and making it safe for consumption, there are always limits set by safety agencies. That is why these courgettes destined for France have not passed the necessary controls. So there we go, and that's the last thing that we need at the moment: dodgy Spanish courgettes, or zucchini as we call them in Australia. So Spanish agricultural products again in the spotlight, and the warning being put out by France. And the final piece of news we'll look at today, and it's an interesting story about a police robo dog that has hit the streets of Malaga. And as we can read here, police parade robo dog helper in Spain's Malaga. Police in Malaga took a robot dog on a trial patrol through the center of the Spanish city on Tuesday, to the joy of bystanders, some of whom imitated its clunky gait or introduced their pets to the whirring contraption with flashing lights on top. Designed by University of Malaga researchers over the past 2 years to support police work and spot traffic violations, such as the use of electric scooters in prohibited areas, the green and black four-legged robot is remote controlled for now, but will eventually integrate artificial intelligence to work on its own. What stands out in this project is that we are using 5G technology for the remote operation of the robot to carry out image analysis and detect dangerous situations, said researcher Almudena Diaz. So there we go, Robo Dog hitting the streets of Malaga, supporting police work down there, and also looking for traffic violations, especially from those pesky scooters. Because let's be honest, the majority of people that ride these scooters have absolutely no idea what the road rules are. Now let's have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel recently. One here from Patricia: British tourists still welcome in our town in Tenerife. I must say there has always been a certain type of visitor not welcome. Tourists push up prices for locals. However, we have been here 23 years and get preferential treatment from our local businesses. Spanish extended families tend to look after their own, for example with housing for their young families. Tenerife has turned to revitalizing its agricultural industry, so they are not so reliant on visitors as the only economic earner. Yeah, Patricia, thanks for the comment, and thanks for pointing out that tourists are still welcome in your town. There's been a bit of a tourist backlash in recent times. There are some anti-tourist groups around the country. In the Canary Islands recently, some of these groups have been making a bit of noise, not wanting so many tourists down there. And also on mainland Spain, these groups are around the country, especially in areas where tourism is out of control. For example, Malaga, Barcelona, and some other parts of the Spanish coastline. And also good to see that Tenerife and the other islands down there in the Canaries are trying to take the dependence off tourism and revitalizing their agricultural sector. We'll see how it goes for them. One here from Dallas. Dallas here: when will the train be finished from Veda to Madrid? Yeah, Dallas, thanks for the comment, and obviously referring to the fast train connection between Almeria in the south of Spain and Spain's capital Madrid. But to tell the truth, I've got no idea when this line will be finished. But being the curious person that I am, I did a quick internet search, and this is what I came up with. And as we can read here in this article published last year, the Murcia-Almeria AVE will be ready in 2026. The acting minister of the presidency, Felix Bolaños, assured this Thursday that the pace of the works on the AVE to Almeria is going at full speed, so that the 1.3 billion euros of the 3.4 billion euros budgeted for the line have already been executed, the Murcia-Almeria high-speed train. This was stated to the media during a visit to the AVE works in Veda, Almeria, where he maintained that this connection will be operational in the province of Almeria in 2026. So there we go, Dallas. 2026 is the date predicted by that politician there, Mr. Bolaños. But then again, I wouldn't believe everything that comes out of a politician's mouth in this country, unfortunately, especially when it comes to infrastructure and big infrastructure works like the AVE fast train. But then again, I'm skeptical by nature. One here from Susan: Portugal, here I come for my holidays. Yeah, Susan, thanks for the comment. And another person that is going to boycott Spain this year, heading to Portugal instead. And I've seen a lot of comments in recent times on the channel from people telling me that they're going to do exactly what Susan is going to do, and that is not come to Spain, go somewhere else, maybe Italy, maybe Turkey, maybe Greece, or even Portugal. And why is this? Well, some people are saying that Spain is too expensive nowadays. Some people don't like the tourist backlash that we've been reading about in recent times. And some people just want to go somewhere different. One here from FRGV, the security alarmism is aimed at increasing the military spending, a difficult topic in this country for many reasons. Among them, the traditional far-right leaning of the army. The past is still very alive and the ideals passed through generations, as not many of those that don't belong to a military family end up there. And the corruption. FRGV, thanks for the comment, and you could be right, especially with all of the things that we've been hearing in recent times from Spanish politicians. For example, the defense minister, who said the other day that Spaniards are not aware of the threats to the European Union coming from the east, that is, Russia. And it could be a ploy to convince people here that we need to spend more money on defense, something that the Spanish government has been reluctant to do for a long time now. Because for a lot of people here, as pointed out in that comment, the military doesn't have the best reputation, especially given its role in the dictatorship that controlled this country for close to 40 years. And another thing I agree with in this comment is that the past is still very much alive in Spain, unfortunately. One here from Giles, the graffiti I see in Barcelona always has the same handwriting. I think it's someone from the government trying to stir up trouble. Yeah, Giles, thanks for the comment, and you could be right. All of the anti-tourism graffiti that you see around Barcelona could be from the same hand. And could it be the work of the government or another political party? I don't know, but anything is possible. One here from Nicholas, I could have done with that website as to camera locations when I picked up a ticket about 4 years ago, which was posted to my home address. I found that the speed limits on the motorways changed frequently and rather suddenly. I kept my receipt for payment in my passport. The police officer at the ferry port chuckled when she read it, with me looking sheepish. Yeah, Nicholas, thanks for the comment, and sorry to see that you were pinged by a speed camera here in Spain around 4 years ago, and that you ended up with the ticket in your mail back home in the UK. And you're right, driving on motorways here can be a bit confusing because the speed limits do go up and down quite often. Sometimes they are at 120 k's per hour, and then suddenly they drop down to 100, especially if you're going through a high density traffic area or a built up area on the outskirts of a city here. So watch out for speed cameras, and remember that if you do get caught and fined, pay it quickly and you'll get a discount. And the final one here from John, the warm weather in Scotland is usually between the 4th and the 6th of July, so that fellow with the second home in Andalusia will spend a lot of time there. Yeah, John, thanks for the comment, and in reply to another comment that we saw the other day from a Scottish gentleman that has a house in Andalusia who was worried that he might be contributing to the anti-tourism sentiment in that part of Spain. The man said that he likes to spend his springs and autumns here in Spain, but prefers to spend his summers in Scotland because of the milder weather. But as John points out there, the summers in Scotland are not all that long. And I do remember fondly a couple of weeks that I spent in Scotland in August around 20 years ago, and basically it rained the whole time that I was there. So I'd like to thank my ancestors for getting out of that part of the world when they had the opportunity and moving to a warmer climate. Thank you very much. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.